Okay. Hello. Welcome to Bring Along this Tuesday. Okay, Maybel. let me get Maybel. She's patiently waiting. Hey, go ahead. Go see. Go ahead. Yeah. I had her waiting, so her treat was on the ground, and she was desperate. Let's say. All right, let's get to this. I think we might be wrapping up this, or it'll be really close. I won't be able to stay too late today after 6, so I'm hoping if I can wrap it up for 6 o'clock, that would be great. Otherwise, we got one more week. But we'll see. It's so close. It's so close. So, yeah, thanks for tuning in. So happy that you could be here. And let's get to it. We're talking deformers today. What's going on in my window? Hello. All right, let's see. Where are we? All right, we've got this. This is a piece. Which one is this one? Freckles, face, texture. But we have this one. This is the one we have. We are still missing a couple colors in there. So let's come back to that. I see why I have that pulled to the side now. All right, let's see. Let's, deformers, or do we hunt that texture down? Let's hunt the texture down. Deactivate. Activate. Let's see if we can find it. Let's see. This one. Let's do this. I don't think I need that one anymore. Check anything that I've accidentally unplugged. Neck colors. Neck. Okay. Okay, we got last week's arm to finish up as well. Let's see. Can we find this? And then we can close this task. These are shadows. Here it is. Here it is. Okay. Let's go in and take this. Let's see if we can. Let's turn this off. Just check layer by layer. Okay, we've got a couple things in here. Hand texture, face texture. All right, let's call that copy, deactivate it, activate it. clean that up. Whoa! Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Let me change to gameplay. There we go. Come on. Come on, screen. Flip over. There it is. Took a minute. Okay, let's do the hand. Let's do the hand. Let's put that artwork on the hand. Okay, we've got the sleeve pattern. Upper arm. Did we put the... We put the texture right in the hand. Okay, so we got this. We got this. Alt T. Let's get rid of some of that, 'cause probably don't need that. All right. Control V. Okay, and then let's also put it on the upper arm. Let's get rid of some of the, well, not all that. Let's get rid of this. And let's paste that. All right. All right, so now we've got our color on our skin. I think I've got the layers mixed up though. I think the blue is underneath. Let's see if I can. Send it to the back. Okay, so just trimming extra information so our bounding boxes aren't so much bigger than what they need to be. And that's done. Now let's get to the face. Oh, hey, Cake Digger. So you forgot you are streaming while work. I forgot? Or you forgot? Nice to have you here. Hey, what's the matter? Oh, you want your other treat? Okay. All right, Mabel's got a second treat here. She hasn't really liked the lick mats lately, but we'll see. This one's, we've added some pumpkin and some yogurt and some peanut butter. There we go. What are you up to, Cake Digger, while you're rigging with us? Or are you rigging with us or working with us? You messaged me but didn't get a response? Where'd you message me? And I need to. I don't know who Cake Digger is. I'm real bad with usernames and handles. So, what? What? I'm confused. What did I forget? What's slurping voice? Oh, Maybel? What's the slurping voice? That's Maybel. That's her and her treats. Can you hear that? I guess, yeah, I can see the mic picking it up. Yeah, she's getting into her well, that's good. I don't know what. Sometimes she doesn't like the lick mats, and sometimes she does, so. Keeps her busy while I'm doing this, otherwise she likes to bark at the computer. So. All right, I just found, okay, let's see. I just found, I want to put, all right, I want to put this underneath this. Yeah, I want to make sure the freckles are on top. That looks good. I need to bring it into the ear as well. So let's bring that into the ear. Oh, oh, but did you message me like while I was streaming or like previously? Because if you've messaged me previously, I'll be honest, I don't know how to get messages if that's a thing. Well, happy to have you here now. I'm doing all right. It's a Tuesday. It's kind of rainy. I've got a birthday party after this, which is why I can't stay too late. Going to see the Barbie movie for the second time, but this time with a real rowdy group of girls dressed in pink. How are you doing? Okay. What's the story of the Barbie movie? Oh, I'm not doing spoilers. Come on. I would say that it's about letting go of previous conceived notions. You know, standards that are handed to you instead of chosen for yourself. You know, Barbie and Ken. They fight, then they make up. Let's see. It has a lot of conversations about I don't want to say doing things when you're scared, because it doesn't really feel like anybody's scared of anything in the movie. Just people don't like to do things differently. I'd say. Haven't seen it yet? Okay, good girl, Maybel. Alright, we've got our color there, we've got our color there, we've got our color here. Okay, last, let me edit this one. And then our ear needs a line, and actually, then I think that the character is almost done. Alright, so let's see. Let's delete some of this. Why is this so big? This is why. I can say that I really liked, I'm a big fan of practical effects, so it had a lot of, and you can kind of tell in the movie, and then I learned that they were practical effects. So there's a lot of like, practical effects are when like things are actually made instead of done in the computer, so I'm a big fan of that. So I'm excited to see that kind of stuff. I'm kind of excited to watch it again, to look at the backgrounds to see what's there, because everything, there was just a lot of detail. Lots and lots and lots of detail. I saw Oppenheimer. So after talking to my mom, I liked it a lot more. I knew I needed a history lesson with that one. When I walked out of the theaters, I didn't really quite like it so much. It was very long. But I'm a huge Cillian Murphy fan, so I think what his acting was really, really good, really incredible. He seemed to have a lot of work to do. But Oppenheimer, I haven't seen the new Mission Impossible one yet. That actually, I would see Mission Impossible. Yeah. It's fair enough that you're not interested. I need to see the new Ninja Turtles movie. That's another movie I need to go see pretty soon. Alright, we've got this. Alright, so I think our texture now is done. I need to double check to see how it's, I think it's just plugged into, yeah, it's just plugged in right now. It's not actually being used for, it's not being used for, with any cutters. So let's bring it over. Let's make some space. This is the slow part of the moving of the network. Lots of new movies coming out. Yeah, there are. Do you animate? Do you work in Toon Boom Harmony? What brings you here? I am really trying to wrap up a rig. Maybel, can you relax, please? Alright, so we've got our face texture, and I've put it on a separate layer. I'm getting let's cut it through the jaw and the head. And these two things are plugged in here, and this can only be set, I don't know what that one is yet. So we're going here and here. What's this middle? What is in between? Is that the nose? The teeth is in between. The teeth can be behind. So we can have these two things side by side. There we go. All right. So now we've got this can go here. And I can use a cutter just to keep the texture in the face. Just an inverted cutter. Alright, and so now those textures can only be seen through the, let's double check my layers, should be on the color art layer, yeah. Alright, so let's just pull the color art layers from these two. I'm using the whole color art layer and not the auto patch in this case because I don't want the auto patch to get involved with it'll interfere with the sizing, and I don't have lines, so. Oh, okay, well, sweet. Glad to have you chilling here. Yeah, I make cartoons for a living. I work in the cartoon industry, and I'm just kind of sharing my skills. So that's what I'm doing. Just going in, we're almost done this one, so I'm just going in and changing a couple of minor details. Like I think I've got a layering issue with some of these lines right here, or it's a color issue. It doesn't seem to be dark enough. I'm gonna have to go in and see what's going on with these little notches in the lip. Might have to use, looks like I used a specific cutter for the mouth is being cut by the color art layer, and I think what should be done is cutting it by the whole jaw. Oh, that's too much though. Let's see. What is causing the jaw? Okay, we're locking that so that we don't grab it by accident. Alright, what do we got here? We've got our color art, our line art. Okay. It's almost like it's a little too big. Let's see if the auto patch will actually be something in the middle, which is interesting. I think it probably because of the texture. That's not it at all. That's I'm gonna use a resize. Oops. Let's see if resize. Oh gosh, what's it called? That's not a matte resize. Is it a matte resize? Let's make it a little smaller. How do I make money making cartoons? Well, I get hired by companies and then they pay me. Let's see. Let's see if it'll go smaller. -1. All right, that looks just right. That looks just right. Looks like we needed a little bit of some assistance there to help that cutter kind of cut. The texture is interfering with the mask, the way that works. So that looks like that was gonna work. All right, let's see. What else do we need to do? We need to check out what's going on with this. Is it in? Okay, let's put this on. Let's check out this color. It looks like this color actually is not dark enough. Oh, and maybe that's why. Let's turn the alpha off. No, that's better. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, we've got some small stuff happening here with our transparencies. So I need to go in and check that too. All right, so let's see if it has anything to do with this line. We got our color, we got our line, we got our underlay shadow. How many days you work in a single company? How many days do I work with a single company? A contract usually works. A contract can be anywhere from a month to 8 months. I've worked on one project for 2 years. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. The longest I've worked for a company is probably 3 years, 4 years. I don't think I've ever broken the I've definitely not broken the 5-year barrier, the 5-year mark. Okay, let's see. My overlay is a little bit. Gonna move it down a little. Okay. All right. All right. Am I hunting? What do I got? I've got 30 minutes. I still feel like there's gonna, I don't know if we're gonna finish this today. I feel like there's gonna be a couple things I'm still looking for. A couple hair textures. Let's see if I can find those right now. think our face highlights are done. That's the skin. I've already checked that one. Let's unplug that one. We know it's not needed. It's not that one. All right, we're looking for the hair. So just really quickly, I can describe what it is that I'm doing. So right now I'm working on a rig that was designed by a designer that works in LA. So he works for the WB, WB Studios, and he's absolutely fantastic artist. We used to work together in Vancouver, and so this is his design, girl number 7, and so he's doing a series of animations where he's taking a couple of his drawings, and he's going to animate them walking. So I reached out and said, if you need a rig, I'd love to rig that for you, and this was the one. I chose the hardest one, and the most interesting one, just because I wanted to show off a couple of things that can be difficult in the software, but also I don't think that it's ever too bad. So that is kind of what I'm doing here. I basically took his Photoshop file and I'm turning it into a puppet that animators use for for animation. Oh, what am I doing? I want this one, but I want this one. Okay, I know I've got a couple more hair specks. Yeah. Where are you from, Cake Digger? Let's see. Alright, I found the face lines, although they're a bit different. So I might just draw in the ear, like I have with the other pieces of the body, and I don't know how to find the face texture. Let me see. It's not this one. Oh, maybe it's this one. This is what I'm looking for. There it is. Okay, let's add this. Let's add a little bookmark here. Okay. Maybel, hey! Hey, come on. This is why I give her treats. Hey, come on. Get in here. No. Go lay down. Go lay down. Good girl. Good girl. Lay down. Good girl. There you go. Okay, cut in hair. Where am I gonna put this? Where am I gonna put this? It goes into 3 pieces of the hair. Okay, these are not used properly, so let's alright, there we go. Alright, let's there it is. Hair is always the most difficult. Alright, let's put that, we'll have to bring in our, let's put it into all 3 pieces before I, Oh. Copy. Deactivate. Cut in hair. Alright, so now I've got the same artwork on all 3 pieces, but I'm going to add cutters so that they all, they're all kind of just cut into the pieces that are copied into. And what that's going to do is it's going to, as long as the pieces are overlapping, we should have no problem if anything is sliding around and moving. And again, this girl's got limited animation, so that should be enough. That should be fine. But now we got to go and grab one of these bad boys so that we can cut the overlay by the line art, and then we also need to make sure that we are preserving the original network. So, oh my gosh, come on. Nope, I want this one. There we go. So this will connect here and replace. I can pop that out. But here we're using for cutters, so I'm assuming it's going to come from cut in here. The artwork is on what layer? The line art. Let's put it on the color art so that it stays consistent. Alright, so now the color art goes here. And the color art comes down, and I'm not using the line art in this case, so there we go. That's a smooth I don't want to call that a transition, but a swap. Now let's do the bangs. So copy view. Swap this out. Okay, Maybel, you're doing fine, girl. All right, let's see. This is probably same thing. Gotta move. Control X, Control V. Switch over my cutter. I've used the wrong. There we go. All right, now it's done. And now I got one more. Something's coming from the bangs, but let's swap that out. Let's see. Actually, let's do this. Let's do a cheat. All right, we'll use the same method. I'm just going to use the composite here and replace this connection. Again, once you start using these little boxes, you want to make sure that you are always being specific. So there we go. All right, that looks good. What is the shadow? I'm gonna not delete that yet. I don't think I need that, but I'm not gonna delete it yet. All right, and I need one more with the hair. With the braid, Control X, Control. All right, we're gonna have a couple things to be replacing with this one, but I think since it is they're probably going into cutters. Let me make sure again, set this up properly, put my color art on the color art layer. My little network will work, and I can use this to pull any. So this is going to be coming from the color art layer. There we go. And just one by one, replace with the color art layer. The textures are not being used as cutters or masks, so that's how I know don't need to use the whole thing to cut itself by itself anymore. That's where we get into problems. So let's remove that. There we go. All right, there's still textures that I don't have. Okay, let's cut this one by Once again, I'm cutting it by the whole solid shape, and I probably shouldn't be. Yeah, that should only be seen by the skirt. I'm gonna lock this. That way we can click the skirt. There we go. All right, and that's looking good. All right. One thing that I was noticing is I still have these black patterns. So there's a couple ways that I can go ahead and edit this. So let's just really quickly go over these. What we have here. All right, we got our overlay, we've got our line art, we've got this, and then we've got a cutter here. Right, what is the? This is the purple. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut this. I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna Control Alt, Control X this. It's a bit much on one layer, but Control X, Control B. All right, so now what I've done is I've freed up my color art layer, and I'm actually gonna add a cutter to here. So let me copy this. And a copy, and I'm going to view. All right, let's turn this on. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trace this pattern, and I just don't want to have anything showing. So right. All right, perfect. Perfect. Turn that off. And let's get rid of this. All right, so now our underlay is cutting the top of the dress, but our color art layer is going to cut the pattern so that we're not seeing this, these black squares. The other thing that I want to do here, let's see, so our color art is here, but our color art was moved, so now our color art is not that. So now our color art is going to cut the shirt pattern, which is this one. So Control H, let's use a composite bar. And now, there we go. So that takes care of the thing. Now, if this moves, we're still going to get some black patterns there. So, what I can do is kind of complete the pattern. So, Alt-T, copy, view. I'm just going to do this. I don't know if there's an actual pattern here, but doesn't look like there could be. So let's take, they're all the same shape. So I'm just gonna kind of protect some, like the patterns that are close. So Control T, Copy. You. Not working. Let's put this, which one should go here? What color should this one be? Let's do this green. Control T. Copy, Control V. Favor the bottom. All right, so that should help us help any animation that's gonna have the character tilt. But there we go. That looks good. That looks good. There's a little bit of breakage, but it's a lot harder to notice. All right. The only thing that it doesn't have there is the texture of the shirt. It doesn't have the texture of the shirt. Since we're cutting into that one, and we might have to let that detail go. That would be really hard to bring back the way that the characters are designed. All right, and let's do this ear, and then I think we get to go into deformers and on that arm. All right, let's get rid of the slide peg. There it is. Okay, and okay. Okay. All right, that looks good. I've got to cut something here. There's a layer. It's not really a layering issue. It's just going to be really hard to get those. So I am going to cut. I am going to steal. Copy, view. I'm going to use a regular cutter. And I'm going to cut that by this. The line art layer. I guess I was using the line art layer because there's not really too many lines, but there we go. There we go. Now that breaks it. All right, so there's still some shadows missing here, which maybe that's what that extra drawing was. All I want to do is start the deformers. Let's see, this right here. This seems to have everything but that hairband. Alright, so then maybe it's time to do the deformers. Let's bring, we've got the shirt texture, the head texture. I need to cut the jaw by the body. Why did I need to cut the jaw by the body? What's in the overlay? Oh, I know why. Here we go. We're going to get rid of this right here. And we need to cut that shadow as well. Alright, so we've got, again, we've got a uncut or an unspecific node here, so we got to double check. Now that's to cut the face. That's okay. I can let that one go. So I know what that one's doing. Alright, I need to bring the body. Let's bring the, not the, okay. Control H. Let's bring over. Oh, actually, I'm gonna do this. I need to cut which layers? The shadow on, the shadow's on the underlay. So let's copy view, let's cut that. There we go. So now they're cut. I think I can delete this. Yep, and it's got the two connections still connected. All right. Okay, let's take a look at these arms. All right, because I have not used the static transformation to put this here yet, and I have not done anything with this arm, so let me put this arm. Let's see. Let's push it over so we can see it. Our hand has to change. We can bring that in, and I'll just kind of want to cock it. Okay. Now let's bring in our static transformation, STAT, and let's pin it. Bake immediate parent transformations. It doubles up the movement, so we'll delete the original peg. We've got our, let's push this a little forward. Create another hand. Kind of looks like this is a little small, but we'll make do with what we have. And just, I don't really think I need. Alright, let's do this one, and this one. Let's turn this, let's split this line, and we'll split this one. There we go. Okay, now in this one, in this hand, I have to treat it a little bit differently because the textures are currently running over in this one, and in this case, I need to make sure that my textures are underneath the lines. See? Yeah. All right. How are we gonna do this? How are we gonna do Control X? Put the color on the color art layer. Copy. Put that there. Now we've got our lines. Let's bring our color art layer down into our hand. And I'm gonna just pop that on top. And this can only be seen through the color art layer. So we did a little bit of changes, but not totally, and I think that matches pretty good. So that works. Let's maybe make those, the thickness of those lines just a little thinner. They seem a little bit, let's not do 10, let's do 9. I wanna overpower them now. And all right, so now we've got our hand attached to our arm. Our arm is in place. Now we can go ahead and add deformers. I got 45 minutes. How many deformers do you think that I can do in that much time? All right, let's see. Let's start from the top. We're going to use my favorite. We're going to go with envelope deformers. We'll use weighted deformers if we need them. Let's add a, let's like remove the keyframes. I always get so nervous to do this, but let's remove the keyframe, see if anything pops. It did not, so I'll add a keyframe. This girl number 7 needs a peg. And a display. Unless I've already added one on the inside. Whoops. Nope, I already have, so we're good. Don't need a display. All right. Okay, there's a couple ways that we can do this. I can use my compositing bar to just extract the exact image, like this. I can also take my eyebrow in itself, find it in the network view, and isolate it. But there it's not showing us the cutter, so I'm not going to do that. I'm gonna stick with my version, and now we can add our deformers. So using the hammer tool, I'm going to switch over to this button right here, the envelope deformer. I always sometimes forget to change that over when I'm just starting my deformer placements, but this should be good. We just want a very simple brow here, nothing too complicated, but we do want to make sure that the mask is editable, which is why we're doing the full. Kind of helps us with that detail, just in case the animator needs to like move something. But it should look okay. This is where we're going to probably need our weighted deformer. So let's pull that in right now. W-E-I-G-H-T, weighted deformer. And now I always kind of do this a little bit funky. But you always want to add your weighted deformer at the end. You don't want to add your weighted deformer if you're adding more deformers. So because we only have one view, we don't actually need to go in and make a whole rotation worth of deformers. So we can add a deformer right away. However, if you were doing a full rotation and you have textures inside of your envelopes, you definitely want to do your weighted deformer at the very end, because it'll kind of add weird deformer pieces outside of the deformer. So it kind of breaks, and you kind of have to go back and fix it. So always add your weighted deformers at the very end. And let's see, I think that it goes, the peg goes into here, then your deformer goes on the left, and then the whole thing is replaced. And now we've got a good, yeah, that doesn't seem to break as much. You can move everything around. That looks phenomenal, actually. All right, so now we can move on to the next one. I always like to move my weighted deformer so that it's kind of centered over everything. All right, we want our eyelash. We want that to have a deformer. I think there's a cutter on our eyelash as well, so let's do the same thing. All right, so on this one, do the same idea. Oops. Lately I've noticed that my Cintiq is doing something like adding extra points when I add my deformers, so hopefully yours is not. Alright, I'm holding down Alt so that I can close my envelope deformer. All you gotta do is hover over this root. The very first point that the deformer creates is called the root. So as long as you're hovering over that, you should see a little donut up here, a little ring. It shouldn't be too bad to deform the other way. There we go. And we don't need an envelope deformer for this one. There's not enough texture on the inside, so you don't have to worry about that. We got our eye shadow. If we want that to be connected here, I could really just almost bypass. I don't know why I'd need a peg on that anyway, so we can just bypass that. Bottom eyelid cutter. All right, this is going to be the same idea. We want to make sure that we're getting the whole drawing. So let's add some deformers here. Let's put the root. I always like to kind of hide the root. Here we go. You can see that donut right there. And we're going to have to clean this up. I might need another. Okay, just go ahead and give that a little bit of a test. All right, eyelid lines. Do we need to have deformers on the eyelid lines? Does it need it? Does it need it? Well, let's just do it, and I'll show you more for the demo's sake instead of the actual deformer's sake. So something like this, what you can do, because they crisscross, so a nice little trick that you can do in Harmony is you can kind of backtrack and create these fun little shapes. I don't think it's necessary, but we'll do it. So now we've got a seemingly separate drawing. You can actually deform all three of those parts, so it's pretty handy. Is it necessary for this one? Probably not, but okay, I don't think the pupil is going to need a thing, but let's do the whole eye. Okay. Let's put, we can put deformers on these just for fun. Just treat those as they are one piece. We don't have to do deformers. You could do deformers on all three of them, kind of like I did the little line above the eye, but it's just not totally necessary. I never quite had enough room for deformers. All right, so we got our nose next. Now, because our shapes don't have lines, like the nose, it's kind of redundant to add a deformer if there's no lines. I could kind of just leave it the way that it is, because it simulates the same idea. Actually, I don't even need this anymore. So let's get rid of this. All right. Let's check this detail real quick. Do I have my slide open? No. Oh, goodness. I wanted to see. Oh, yeah. Okay, I think I'm okay. I was noticing that the layering's on top of these lines, but it looks like that's the normal circumstance. So I don't need to add a deformer on the nose. Again, when you're squishing a shape that has no line, the line doesn't change, the thickness of the line doesn't change, and so the deformer is kind of redundant. So I'm gonna leave it off. I'm gonna squishing and squashing should be fine in this case. Wrinkles. Let's add some. Let's put a deformer here. run this right through. I don't think the individual lines for the lips need wrinkles. If she was going to talk, I would. But I don't think she's going to need it, but we can still add it. We are going to go through this pretty quickly. Oops. To start a new deformer chain, it's pretty easy. You just have to unselect. I'm selecting in the node view. Oops. Because my image is there. It makes it a little bit easier to deselect and come back and select. So now I've got those. The teeth will not need a deformer, but the mouth sure will. Let me deactivate this. Oops. Okay, so this one I might need to add a weighted deformer because if it needs to close the mouth even further, it should stop the crunch. So let's test it. Yeah, so that's the crunch. You can see the teeth or the white space is kind of popping. It does go pretty far though, so let's see. At that point, the drawing probably needs to be changed. But let's see what that looks like. If we add a weighted deformer on here, let's see if it'll work. If it solves this problem or not. I'm actually not sure if a weighted deformer would be the answer here, but let's find out. All right, so peg goes into here, and then deformer goes on the left. Oh, it does. There you go. It does solve that problem. So that is actually pretty lovely. We'll leave that on. And I'll reset that deformer. And it's good to go. All right, teeth don't need a deformer. They're just gonna stay strong, calcified. All right, then we get into the head. Leave the head texture. We will remove that little note. We don't need it anymore. It's done. All right, so then the jaw. All right, another way that I will add deformers, especially on a rig that's one view like this, if I'm just doing something like this, is just pull it right off the body, like that, and I will add my deformers. Let's see, I want to make sure that I am accounting for the jaw if it needs to move, and then the nose, and that should be All right, so now to put it back, we can just reset that and it'll pop back right into place. Under chin, let's add a deformer to this. I don't think we need to have too many deformer points on this, but we will add a deformer to the earring, but I'm just going to add it so it swings, not an envelope deformer. Do, 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 do. So let's see what that does. Depends on how much we want that earring to move. I can kind of move that down and see if that will not affect it as much. That looks good. And it'll still swing. Let's see. Ear. Does the ear need a deformer? I don't know if the ear needs a deformer. I would say that it does not need a deformer. So let's add to our bangs. We've got the bang lines. We've got our bang shadow. All right, let's do. right, and now we could add a weighted deformer to this one so that it doesn't reset. Weighted deformer, and here we'll just do a simple, and this will just help move those lines around a little bit, but they don't need to steal the show. All right. Peg on the left, on the right, peg on the right, deformer on the left. We could basically add our deformer here too as well if we wanted to. But the deformer and I don't like doing that because of the Z depth, but it does technically work. But if you're going to use any sort of Z depth, it would break. We'll leave it for now. We'll just, actually, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for it. Since I know Luis is a pretty adept animator, I know he's going to be all right. Okay, cut in. So this piece right here, we've got the hair that's cut in. This is something that's really good so that we can kind of control. I don't know if it actually is needed. I think this would be okay. This motion right here. I might even take these two pegs and move them down just so that they're rooted in the ear, and then that way it won't break. It won't break down there. Yeah, we'll leave that. That looks good. Actually, I'll add a deformer to this one. Let's go. Okay, I don't think that this thing needs a deformer, so I'm going to leave it, but I am going to put little deformers on these knot ends, just so that we can have some fun secondary action. So I'll just do a little. Can't believe we haven't even gotten through the hair yet. All right, what's left? We got some braid lines here. We've got our braid. I don't know if I need to put deformers on all of these pieces. It looks like I've got a layering issue. The hair is popping through the shirt and the skirt, so I'm going to put it at the back. Braid should be at the far back. I like go through these rigs and I think it's hard to stay consistent from week to week. I can see why I'm choosing both methods of reasons why I'm doing things, like the shadow, for instance. Like sometimes I bake it into the piece, sometimes I keep it separate, and I know why, but I'm not staying consistent with those kinds of decisions. So I have to figure out how to do that. For this series. All right, let's add a deformer like so. Ponytail shadow doesn't need a deformer. Ponytail. This is probably overkill, but all right, headband. Let's get rid of some of these deformers. What have we got here? Hairband color. Shadow. How are we gonna do this? I don't know if we can put a deformer on this. Or can we? We'll leave it. We won't add a deformer on that one. Okay, upper body. Shirt. Let's do this big piece. Okay, we're thinking about any piece that needs to kind of move. I don't know if we need to add too much of a divot to her chest. So I think it'll be okay to come all the way up here. Maybe I'll do this so that the front and the back of her neck are kind of treated differently. That way the one doesn't affect the other. It's probably a better move than her back. And this will definitely need... There we go. So powerful. Okay. And let's reset that. Just don't like doing this. This makes me very uncomfortable to put a peg under a deformer. Again, when there's Z depth involved, it can really mess up what it is that you're doing. But at the same time, it cuts out so much work. And I can do it here too, but again, I'm just hesitant. Hairband. Let's see. I don't know if I want to turn this into an actual envelope deformer. I don't know why this would be necessary. Okay, let's do the weighted one. Okay, so this will move around as well in there, but again, you don't want to put Z depth into something like this. This is where it starts to break, so don't mix methods, but you can kind of mix methods. Top knot. Should we do it? Should we do the same thing? Let's go for it. Bounding boxes are important when you're working like this, because they can get really annoying if they're in the way. So we'll want to... I feel like I want to get back into this rig, but just to do some odds and ends, but I don't necessarily know if I need to do that on camera. Just want to get it done and just perfect it. My build supervisor showing. All right, let's do a little top knot. Ooh. All right. I think the weighted deformer looks like a peg under there. All right, what have we got left? We've got our arms and our lower body. So I might be able to do this. Let's figure this out. All right, skirt and the skirt shadow. Let's do the skirt. Reset. And let's bring out the weighted deformers. Weighted deformer. There we go. I hope that doesn't break. That might need another deformer point there to stop the breaking. All right, now that's done. Let's take a look at these. Just want to extend something right here, just so that it's kind of coming off the shirt a little. There we go. And I'm going to move this peg. This neckline should probably be closer to up here. And then that'll allow it to It'll never break. It doesn't need a deformer. I don't think it needs a deformer. But let's do these arms, and then we'll bring them into the other arm. So, woohoo! We're gonna add our deformers, and I think that I'm gonna have enough time to get to my movie. Ooh. All right. Upper arm. Let's add. I don't think this character needs like full on. I don't actually think the arm even needs a deformer. I think that it'll be fine. I just really want to add it to the sleeve. Since we've got big poofy sleeves, and we've got a sleeve pattern, I'm gonna have to go in and make some adjustments to how big that pattern is. Ooh. Again, it's all about those bounding boxes, and that's massive. That is massive. All right. Alright, so for this, let's put this here. I'm just gonna act like this shape is kind of there, but not quite there. The weighted deformer is going to give me a lot of flexibility, so I don't really have to worry about okay. Alright, and let's do the weighted deformer. Swap those. That looked like it was crunchy. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's see if this will work. This is when you have to test your deformers. You always want to test your deformers if you don't know how they're gonna, if you can't predict how they're gonna act. You always want to test your deformers. So let's see. Yeah, that's not exactly what I'm looking for. I can see that here that this deformer is not quite center, so that's gonna make a big impact. So let's. Now I'm taking too much out of that one. Maybel. Come. Can you come lay down, please? Come. Come. No. Come on. Lay down. Good girl. Good girl. Alright, this is looking pretty good. I like this corner down here. I don't like how this is crunching. Let's see. Wow. Someone's coming to say hello. She ferocious. She ferocious. Alright, shirt pattern, shirt line. Let's see, what do I need to let's see if a weighted deformer will work. Copy view. Let's see if that will make a difference. It's not the worst, but it's not quite what I'm looking for. Let's see if that one's a little better. I can handle that. I can handle that little bit of, I don't think that it's gonna change too much, and Luis might actually go in and redraw some stuff anyway, so it might not even be needed. Alright, so that is the two deformers here. So I'm actually gonna, because I use a static transformation for the other arm, oops, I didn't mean to go into that one. I wanted to grab both. All right, so this is my little trick. I go to the hamburger menu. No, I exit this window. Then I go to the hamburger menu and I say clone. And it's gonna give me what I had selected. You gotta be really careful that you're not deselecting, and I've got the right naming. So now what I can do is I can go into the other arm, and because the drawings are the same, I can set this up. I don't need a weighted deformer on this one, and I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, actually the weighted deformer does make a difference. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure that I'm naming, so this one's the weighted deformer number 1, so I'll just make sure that I don't need to necessarily copy the weighted deformers over. I just need to make sure I add them in the right spots and make sure that they're named the right thing. So weighted deformer can come over here. And then weighted deformer _1. There we go. It's not necessarily needed. I doubt that's going to be shown on the other side of the arm, but the sleeve itself will be a really good one. And then if we want to hook that up to the sleeve shadow, I'm not on the right. Right now I've got my sleeve attached to the upper arm, but it's cut into there. I'll leave it. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just nitpicking at this point, but that looks good. I can double check on my bounding boxes. This bounding box is wild. Let me just really quickly see what it is that I'm grabbing here, because I don't think that it's the... I think this drawing is locked. Yeah. Okay, so we don't need all of this in this, so I will delete some of here. So let's go. We don't need all this. All right, so that is done. Well, team, I think this might be it for this rig. And now at this point, it's just a lot of little nitpicks, going in and finding things, little discrepancies within the rig. Which obviously I still can, but I'm pretty sure that she is all rigged up and ready to go. Oh, I am missing her highlight, the highlight on her nose. And some texture in her hair. Those are, I feel like those are going to be hard to find right now. Let me see. Let me see if I can do a quick. Oh, and this texture right here, this shadow. Copy. Let's put this into the rig. This does stand out quite a bit. Move this around a little. Okay, let's put the color on the color art layer. Let's put these colors here on the line art layer, and then I can put the shadow on top of the Okay, so it disappeared because I've changed the network a little bit, so let's change it back. The color art layer is now what shows, and we're going to need a composite because now it's the overlay and line art that is seen. There we go. That's a quick one. Okay, let's see. if this works. I feel like I just added another of the same layer. I don't know if I'm gonna find that little glare in the. I might actually have to add a spot. Let's see. Color. If I have. Let's call this nose shine. Okay, on this one we're already using all the layers, so I'm not going to do anything. Deactivate. Alright, so I put this little shiny spot or artwork on the underlay, but I'm going to actually pull that in front. I don't usually do this, but I'm going to, since we've used all of the, I'm just going to go like this, and I'm going to bring in a blur effect. Oops, I'm using the wrong window. B-L-U-R, let's do box blur would work. I believe a box blur would work just fine. Let's see. All right, let's do a radius. Let's start with a 2. Let's do 1. That looks okay, it's a little too big, but that looks pretty good. I feel like my nose isn't as pink as it was, and I'm wondering if I accidentally deleted a layer. All right, let's go back to this. And something's happening right here. What is going on with this? I am using a overlay blending. That's not what I want. I don't want to blend it. It's on the overlay. Yeah, let's remove it from that and just pop it on top. think she's done. Like she's pretty close to being done. It's just that little piece in her hair up there, but I don't think I'm gonna log back in to fix that if I can find it. If I can't find it, I can't find it, but it's the only thing that's left. Let's see. Let me do a quick deactivate. It looks like it's this thing right here. That's kind of cutting through all of the hair. What piece is that? Hello. I don't necessarily want the purple though, so let's copy it. We got this. We got this. We got this. All right, let's put it in the line art. And copy view. Let's see if we can, what that looks like, if that fixes our problem. I think the last thing I would want to go do is just go and lock all of the pieces that don't need to be there. All right, let's remove some of these things. We don't want these purple. And this is in this piece here, so we don't need all of this. I want to make sure I'm not accidentally deleting all the layers. I am not. Tool properties, this is turned off, so we're good. Okay, got that one. We got this one. I think that's about it. I think that's a wrap. It will be needles and haystack from here on out. And again, we can probably simplify some of these layers. All right, let's get rid of the old Photoshop file. We're not really using that anymore. Let's slide our character and let's see background. What's the background? Is that, is it a color card? No, let's just delete that. Let's bring in a, where's a color card? There it is. All right, I think that's it. That's she's done. All right, well, I definitely know which one's the rig and which one is not, but yeah, she looks great. There's a couple little things that I could probably adjust or look for, but I mean, I'd say that it's about 98% accurate. It's just this and this are the two giveaways. If you don't know what you're looking for, you won't see it. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap up today now. But yeah, next week I typically would take off. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back in September. So tiny announcement at the end. I think I'm going to take the rest of the month off just to kind of enjoy the rest of the summer. It's going to go fast, and I feel like I've been spending a lot of time on the computer, so I want to make sure I'm getting Maybel to the dog park a couple more extra more times that I can, and then we'll come back in September and start again. So really excited to finish this one. I'm excited to see it get animated. And we'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. So I better quickly do my final keyframe, which I sometimes forget. Oh, I don't know if it needed to do that, but yeah, awesome. Well, thanks for joining me today, and I hope that you learned a thing or two about deformers. As always, see you next week. Bye.